You're about to make a mistake, a big one, but you don't know it yet. Right now, you're riding a high. Someone new is in your life, someone who makes you feel wanted, desired, even powerful again. And let's be honest, after that last breakup, that's exactly what you needed. Or so you think. But what if I told you that this thrilling, passionate, too good to be true romance you found yourself in is actually a ticking time bomb? What if I told you that rebounds rarely, if ever, work? And even worse, what if I told you that most men don't realize this until it's far too late? Stick around, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to expose the brutal, unfiltered truth about rebound relationships, why they almost always fail, why men are the ones who suffer the most, and how jumping into one could be the single biggest mistake you'll make after a breakup. If you think this doesn't apply to you, think again, because chances are you're already caught in the trap. Let's talk about why men rush into rebound relationships. It's not because they've found love again. It's not because they've miraculously healed overnight. No, the truth is much uglier. Most men run to rebounds because they're terrified of facing the pain of their breakup. Think about it. When a relationship ends, there's a void, a gaping hole where love, companionship, and routine used to be. And instead of sitting with that discomfort, instead of dealing with the heartbreak, most men do the one thing that gives them a quick fix. They find someone new. The logic is simple. If one woman hurt you, another can heal you. But here's the harsh reality. A rebound isn't medicine. It's a numbing agent. It gives you temporary relief, but it does nothing to solve the real problem. And what's worse, it blinds you. You convince yourself that you're fine. You tell yourself you've moved on. You throw yourself into a new relationship thinking you're in control. But deep down, you know the truth. This isn't about love. This is about running. And the longer you run, the harder the crash will be when reality finally catches up. Here's the controversial part no one wants to admit. Men suffer more in breakups than women. Yes, you heard me right. While women process their emotions, crying, venting to friends, seeking closure, men do the exact opposite. We suppress, we distract, we dive into work, hit the gym obsessively, or drown ourselves in casual flings. But the most dangerous distraction of all, the rebound relationship, because unlike casual hookups, a rebound gives you the illusion of stability. It tricks you into thinking you've successfully moved on, when in reality you've just buried your pain under someone new. And let's not pretend we don't know what happens next. Eventually, those unresolved emotions surface. Maybe you start resenting your new partner for not being your ex. Maybe you overcompensate by moving too fast, telling her she's the one just to convince yourself you're over your past. Or maybe, just maybe, you wake up one day and realize you don't love her at all. You just love the distraction. And that's the moment when the whole thing comes crashing down. Because the truth is, rebounds don't heal. They just delay. The inevitable, the moment you have to face yourself. Most rebound relationships follow the same doomed script. At first, it feels like you've won the breakup. You've found someone new. Someone who makes you feel attractive, desired, and, most importantly, distracted. It's intoxicating. You go on dates, share inside jokes, and maybe even post a few pictures online just to show the world and your ex how fine you are. But here's the problem. This isn't built on real connection. It's built on desperation. And desperation never leads to anything good. Slowly, cracks start to appear. You find yourself comparing her to your ex. Maybe she doesn't laugh at your jokes the same way. Maybe she doesn't understand your quirks like your ex did. Or maybe, just maybe, you start realizing you don't actually like her that much. The chemistry fades, the excitement dies down, and you're left with nothing but the cold, hard truth. You weren't in love with her. You were in love with the idea of escaping your pain. And when that illusion shatters, what are you left with? A relationship that feels forced, a partner you're not truly invested in, and a whole new layer of guilt for dragging someone else into your emotional mess. And let's talk about that, because if you think a rebound only affects you, think again. Most men don't realize how unfair a rebound is to the woman they're using as an emotional crutch. Yes, using, because let's call it what it is. She doesn't know she's filling the void your ex left behind. She doesn't know she's been cast in a role she never auditioned for. And while you might be convincing yourself that this is real, deep down, a part of you knows the truth. You're not truly in it for her. You're in it for yourself. And that's the cruelest part of all, because eventually she'll start to feel it. She'll notice the way you hesitate when she asks about the future. She'll sense the lack of depth in your emotions. She'll see the way your mind drifts when she talks. Because it's not her you're thinking about. It's the ghost of the woman before her. And when she finally realizes she was just a substitute, just a temporary fix for your broken heart, she'll walk away hurt, confused, and feeling like she was never enough. Not because she wasn't, but because you were never ready to love her in the first place. At this point, you might be thinking, but what if my rebound is different? What if this one actually works? And sure, there are always exceptions. But let's be real. Are you genuinely in this relationship for the right reasons, or are you just hoping to rewrite the pain of your past? Be honest with yourself, because most men in rebounds convince themselves that this time is different, that this woman is special, that this relationship is real. But if you look closely, you'll notice the signs that it's not. Maybe you're rushing things, moving in too fast, saying, "I love you," before you even mean it, making future plans when you're still emotionally tied to someone else. Maybe you feel an odd sense of urgency, like you need to make this work just to prove something to yourself, to your ex, to the world. But here's the problem. Real relationships aren't built on urgency. They're built on genuine connection, mutual growth, and emotional stability. And if your foundation is just a desperate need to not be alone, you're not in a relationship. You're in a temporary escape. And temporary escapes always end the same way, in disappointment, confusion, and another round of heartbreak. And here's where things get even messier, because what happens when you suddenly do start developing feelings for your rebound? That's when the real emotional storm hits, because now you're in a situation where your brain and your heart are at war. Your brain knows this relationship started as a distraction. It knows you weren't ready, that you rushed into it, that you were still emotionally entangled with your past. But your heart starts convincing you that maybe, just maybe, you can turn this into something real. And that's dangerous. Because now, instead of walking away and giving yourself time to heal, you double down. You force it. You ignore the red flags. You stay in a relationship that might not actually be right for you, just because you're too afraid to admit that you made a mistake. And that's how men trap themselves in unhealthy relationships, ones where they're not truly in love. But they stay anyway, either out of guilt, convenience, or fear of being alone. And the longer you stay, the harder it is to leave. Until one day, you wake up next to someone you never truly loved and wonder how the hell you got there. But let's get brutally honest for a second. Deep down, you already know how this ends. You can feel it, can't you? The way your mind drifts. Back to your ex when you least expect it. The way certain songs, certain places, or even certain words remind you of what you lost. And the worst part, your rebound partner has no idea. She's falling deeper, believing in something that was never built to last. And one day when reality finally catches up, when you realize you can't force something that isn't real, you're going to have to make a decision. Either you stay in a relationship that feels more like an obligation than a true partnership, or you walk away, breaking yet another heart in the process. And that's the real tragedy of rebounds. They don't just hurt you, they hurt the person who thought they were special to you. So ask yourself, are you really okay with that? Are you really willing to drag someone into your emotional mess just because you couldn't handle being alone? Because if the answer is yes, then maybe the Real issue isn't your ex. Maybe the real issue is that you're afraid to face yourself. This is where most men get stuck, because no one tells us how to heal properly. We're told to move on, to find someone new, to prove that we're fine. But that's all surface-level nonsense. Real healing isn't about rushing into someone else's arms. It's about sitting with the pain, processing the loss, and learning how to stand on your own 2 feet again. It's about facing the brutal silence of being alone and making peace with it. Because the moment you can sit in that silence without needing a distraction, without reaching for your phone to text someone new, without searching for a quick fix, that's the moment you've actually moved on. Not when you get into a new relationship, not when you win the breakup, but when you finally stop running from yourself. And let's be clear, this isn't easy, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, and it forces you to confront parts of yourself you've been avoiding. But until you do that, you'll just keep repeating the same cycle, different woman, same problem. And if you don't break that pattern now, you'll wake up years from now still searching for something only you can give yourself, true emotional closure. So what's the solution? How do you avoid falling into the rebound trap? Simple. Slow down. Don't rush into something just because you feel lonely. Sit with your emotions. Process them. Be brutally honest with yourself. Are you looking for a real connection, or are you just afraid of facing the emptiness left behind? If it's the latter, then you're not ready, and that's okay. The best thing you can do after a breakup isn't to jump into another woman's arms. It's to rebuild yourself. Focus on your purpose. Get back to the gym. Pour yourself into your work, your passions, your goals. Become the kind of man who doesn't need a woman to feel whole. Because here's the thing, when you're truly healed, when you're truly in a good place emotionally, you won't feel the urge to rush into something just to fill a void. You'll wait for the right person. You'll enter your next relationship with a clear mind and a full heart, rather than using someone as an emotional bandage. And that, my friend, is the difference between a real relationship and a rebound. One is built on strength, the other on desperation. And desperation never ends well. The harsh truth is that most rebound relationships are doomed before they even begin. They're not built on love, connection, or compatibility. They're built on avoidance. And when you build something on avoidance, it eventually collapses. You might think you're different. You might think your situation is unique. But the reality is, millions of men before you have fallen into the same trap, telling themselves the same comforting lies. And how did it end for them? The same way it will end for you: disappointment, heartbreak, and wasted time. So, instead of repeating history, do something different. Take time to heal. Face your emotions. Learn from your past mistakes instead of trying to bury them under someone new. Because the sooner you do that, the sooner you'll be truly ready for a real relationship. One that isn't built on desperation, but on something real. And trust me, when that time comes, you won't have to force it. It'll just happen. And that's how you know it's real. Now, if this hit home for you, if you found yourself nodding along, realizing you might be in a rebound right now, then you have a choice to make. You can ignore everything I just said, keep running from your emotions and hope for the best. Or you can face the truth, step back and do the hard work of healing. And if you're serious about becoming a stronger, wiser, more emotionally stable man, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because I don't sugarcoat things here. I give you the truth, whether you like it or not. So, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below if you've ever been in a rebound and what you learned from it. And remember this, a breakup isn't the end. It's an opportunity. The only question is, will you use it to grow, or will you waste it chasing another illusion? The choice is yours.